right, friends, it's Timon. We're going to do a reaction video to Menno Helmsman, the gym lifting, recruiting, fitness slave. Yeah, man. So we're going to react to his video. Menno Helmsman says, 7 gym lessons I wish I learned earlier. Okay.
I really wish somebody had told me these things when I was a young lifter. It would have prevented a lot of mistakes and saved me a lot of time and effort.
Oh, there are many things I wish somebody told me when I was younger. It would have saved me a lot of time, yeah. Okay.
So I'm making this video for you in the hope that it may help you avoid some of these mistakes and save you.
Yes, but everything I learned actually made sense.
A lot of time and effort. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Menno Helmsman. I've been lifting for around 22 years, coaching people for around 15 years, and teaching people how to become better coaches for around 8 years with the Helmsman's PT course.
Wow, he has he? Wow, it's very popular.
Used to be a fitness model, and I've competed in physique sports, and here are some of the things I learned along the way. The first lesson is what I call the big picture view. Many people think of the effectiveness of their program, whether to incorporate cardio now. They think in terms of days, weeks, months, but many people don't think in terms of years and especially not decades. But you should. Lifestyle change is a cliche because it's true. Most of my subscribers want to improve their body composition. And even if you don't want it yet, the end goal for that usually is that you want to hit your...
Everybody wants to improve their body composition. So all the domesticated humans want to undomesticate themselves by doing exercise. Okay. And continuously eating the food that is domesticating them, going up a uphill battle. Okay, yes, I understand. Yeah. Their addiction, their food addiction. Addicted to these artificial foods instead of eating their natural food. Right, okay.
Natural muscular potential.
Yeah.
So you have a certain muscle growth.
Natural muscular potential. I love that one. Okay, you have a what? A growth what?
Level and a certain level of body fat, and you want to probably get to a lower level of body fat with more muscle mass. That
question is, why are you carrying all that body fat? Natural animal products do not make you fat.
process is going to take years, even if you do everything right, and you won't.
It's going to take you years, even if you do everything right. Okay.
So it's very important
undomesticate yourself
to have a long-term view on these things. And a really key lesson here is that because it's such a long-term process, you want to make sure that you're progressing in the right...
Who is he really targeting? You see, like I said, artificial diets affect people all differently. So not everybody becomes completely obese or fat or whatever. They don't have bad-looking physiques. Some have very low body fat, but they have mental problems or maybe some physical ailments or whatever. It depends, you know, how the peasant slave food diet affects everybody. Okay.
Direction, but you don't want to obsess over minutiae that are not sustainable.
Okay, erections. You have problems having erections. That's another thing. Not everybody has a problem with erections eating peasant slave food diets.
Many people go all in on a program for a couple weeks, months, and then they have other periods when they're not as dialed in and they make essentially zero progress. And that's fine. Progress is always going to be cyclical, but most people are best off making sure that they are progressing, even if it's not at the ideal rate. Progressing faster in the grand scheme of things just means that you hit your nanny max maybe a few months or a year earlier.
So you got to make sure you progress so you could go back to homeostasis, because you're out of homeostasis because you're domesticated, eating food that domesticates you. Yes, okay, Menno.
Sure. It doesn't actually change much in terms of quality of your life. What does make a very big difference is whether you are progressing at all. And many people are not progressing at all. To know if you...
So again, Menno proposes that you have to do these exercises and everything to undomesticate yourself, yet you're still eating food that domesticates you. Okay, that makes absolutely zero sense. The actual fact is, all you have to do is eat natural animal products and you will undomesticate yourself automatically. You don't even need exercise. Exercise doesn't exist. It's just something this guy's making up. He's proposing it's going to change you, which is weird.
You are progressing.
I'm not saying you're not going to change. You're going to change somewhat. But you're going to continue eating the peasant slave food diet. Doing that is going to cause you health problems, going to accelerate aging. It's going to deteriorate you. Do exercising and eating a peasant slave food diet will just accelerate deterioration.
You need some objective benchmarks. Ideally, you have measures of your body composition, skin fold calipers, waist circumference, your strength level, and you need to see objectively that these things are improving over time. It also helps to take progress photos, something like once per year. This is really a long-term thing. And then at a certain body fat level.
That's a lot of work to go through, eh? When all you had to do was eat raw animal products. Okay.
Well, you want to compare your photos and really check with yourself,
Sure.
do I look better than last year? Because for many individuals, that is simply not the case.
Welcome to No Man's Sky.
Than last year. Because for many individuals, that is simply not the case. You're much better off making slow, steady progress, but consistently over time, than making amazing progress for a couple of weeks and then having many months afterwards, or even years for many people, where you don't progress at all. And if you're using strength as a proxy,
And why aren't you progressing year after year for many years? Because your peasant slave food diet doesn't allow you to. That's why I said how it affects people affects them all differently. That's why they have so many problems. So some people can go to a gym somewhat, lower their body fat, change their look a bit, eating the peasant slave food diet, while the other people on peasant slave food diet are working out and are not changing. And why is that? Because how it affects everybody's differently. Yeah, it's different.
here, by the way, for your body composition, make sure that you're progressing in all-time personal record strength, not just...
So what do they try to do? They try to aggressively attack that problem. They put you on a program that is so aggressive, right? Because you're still eating the peasant slave food diet, which is affecting you, and they're trying to transform you on a peasant slave food diet. It's like skating uphill. It's crazy. This guy's insane.
Strength on new lifts, because what many people do is they do program hopping, they go to a new program, then they progress in strength, but most of these adaptations are neural, so it's just the brain learning.
Exactly. These strength things, what are they? They're all neural. They're not based on contractile proteins. They're all neural strength drive. Neural strength drive. It's kind of like a, how should I put it? It's kind of like fake strength. It's strength, it's neural drive. But without contractile proteins, it's fake.
How to coordinate the movement better, you get better at these new movements, then you stop progressing, you switch them out, you do new movements, and you just kind of keep zigzagging that way, but you're never really building muscle mass. All that happens is that you're getting used to new movements, and then you switch them out when things get hard.
So you're not really building contractile proteins. Yeah. Because you can't build muscle because muscle's post-mitotic. Yeah.
That's not a way to make true progress. Personal records in strength are a much stronger indicator of muscle growth. You can also look at what I call...
So strength gains are a personal indicator of muscle growth. No, they're not. No, it's not. No, because he just said neural drive is the first thing that you get. Neural drive strength. He didn't say any. He says you don't get any muscle mass. Now he says it does. So he's going back on his word.
Witness lift, which is an exercise that is not
He's
commonly your
contradicting himself.
program. Maybe it's something like Zercher squats or leg presses if you don't commonly use machines. If you see that you are progressing on that exercise, despite not doing that exercise, that is a much
I love this. Progressing on that exercise. I don't get that. What do you mean progressing on that exercise?
better indicator of muscle growth than progress on an exercise that is currently in your program.
So that's an indicator of muscle growth if you progressed on an exercise? No, it's not. Because the first thing you get is neural drive.
If I look at the main reason that I haven't progressed for many years of my career, and this also goes for many of my clients and students, it's bulking too aggressively and cutting too aggressively. And I see this.
So that makes no sense. So getting fat aggressively and then domesticating yourself. So eating domesticated. Now you're going to increase the peasant slave food diet and get fat. And then you're going to cut down aggressively. You're going to lower the peasant slave food diet so you could cut down. That makes absolutely zero sense, but okay.
It's mostly in men, where the bulk cycles, they put on way too much fat, and the cut cycles, they lose some of that muscle mass. And in the
Yeah, so why would you do that if you why would you do that? Why would you get fat if you can eat if protein is what builds muscle mass and makes you look good and lowers body fat, then why not just eat why not be in a positive nitrogen balance? Nobody none of these so-called expert like him, these fitness gurus, nobody tells you be in positive nitrogen balance. If you're in positive nitrogen balance, you're anabolic. So if you're anabolic, you're going to lose fat automatically. It'll go away because you're automatic. You're Man, you're anabolic. So, man, all your anabolic hormones are raised high. Get it? So you're gonna lose fat automatically, and it'll make you lean and look muscular. Get it? Yeah, especially if you're a young person. It works rapidly because your body has good response. Unlike older people, it takes longer for them because they've accumulated too much DNA damage. Now, if you hadn't accumulated so much DNA damage eating the peasant slave food diet, you'd probably change too just as fast, but whatever.
And they end up with the same body composition as when they started before the cut and bulk cycle. With
Yeah.
women, a common mistake that I see in particular is maintaining. So they never really bulk. And I see this in some men as well when they got very lean.
Again, this bulk thing, man. Get fat. Why doesn't he just use the proper words? Why don't people use proper words? Getting fat, get fat, domesticate, right? When women domesticate themselves, eating domesticated, artificial, fake peasant slave food diet. Yes, yes, Menno?
And they got kind of addicted to being at a low body fat level, and then they got scared to bulk. And as a result, when you're at
And then they got scared to domesticate themselves again and get fat. Okay, because they got scared, they got too lean. Okay, yeah, whatever.
a certain level of advancement as a trainee, you just don't gain any muscle anymore. As a beginner, sure, you can just recomp, you can...
You just don't, as a trainee, you just don't gain any muscle anymore. Just don't gain any more muscle. This guy's all over the place. You can't build muscle. Muscle's post-mitotic. You don't build muscle. You can only build contractile proteins. I don't know what he's talking about.
maintain your way to a pretty good physique, but
Well, you can gain sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. You can hypertrophy your muscles sarcoplasmically. Get it? Through sarcoplasm, you can hypertrophy. But that doesn't mean you're building muscles. The word hypertrophy doesn't mean build muscle. It means hypertrophy. It means something is getting bigger. But I guess people, they don't understand the difference between building muscle and the word hypertrophy. They throw that word around like it's special. I'm going to do hypertrophy training. What is hypertrophy? You're just blowing up. If I put water in your muscles, did you hypertrophy?
after a certain point, maintenance means just that, maintenance. So don't obsess over
Maintenance means just that, maintenance. There's not really much to maintain if you're in positive nitrogen balance. It maintains itself.
progressing at the optimal rate, but do make sure that you are progressing objectively in the first
Right,
place.
okay.
One thing that's particularly important for many lifters is nutrient timing, and in particular, meal frequency. When I started lifting, the idea was that you had to eat 6 times per day. This is what all the bros did, all the bodybuilders did. Then you have to have a pre and a post-workout meal immediately before and after the workout. And I did that religiously for many years, and it cost me so much time and effort. It was actually at the point that I could tell the time based on my hunger level, because I ate every 3 hours to the clock so religiously that my body got used to that, and my body rhythm was so entrained to that eating pattern that I can literally tell you almost exactly what time it was, at least within half an hour, at any point of the day, based on my hunger level, because every 3 hours I would get hungry, and I needed my...
If he got hungry every 3 hours, he wasn't in positive nitrogen balance. If you're hungry every 3 hours, that means you're in negative nitrogen balance. So you're starving. So you're deteriorating faster than you're regenerating. You cannot build muscle in a negative nitrogen balance. Sorry.
my protein serving. The research has quite conclusively shown that eating 6 times a day like this is not necessary. There have been multiple...
No, if I eat one large protein meal, that's pretty much that could last me the entire day till the next day. Now, usually, if you're lifting, you probably want to do that twice or maybe 3 times. It depends. Depends on how you go about doing it. It really depends.
multiple studies finding that meal frequencies above 3 times per day are not beneficial for muscle growth, fat loss, or strength development.
Of course not, because muscles, they don't grow. They're post-mitotic. Why would they be good for muscle growth? That's why they're not good for muscle growth, because muscles, they don't grow. They're post-mitotic, bro. Get it? Now, you're talking about building contractile proteins. If you do exercise-induced muscle damage training, that training, EIMD training, is totally different than whatever training he's talking about. He's talking about exercise and body composition.
It does appear that we need to have at least 3 meals per day.
I'm not saying you can't build these contractile proteins, but protein synthesis needs to outpace protein breakdown. You need to be in positive nitrogen balance. And this peasant slave food diets interfere somewhat with that. Then you have to consume even more.
2 meals doesn't seem to cut it. There does appear to be a maximum level of muscle protein synthesis that we can stimulate in 1 meal. This is called the muscle flow.
There needs to be some protein synthesis. It's going to stimulate, okay.
fact in research, and therefore I recommend that most people have at least 3 meals per day. Also, behavior.
Yeah, people are eating 3 meals a day right now. You think you could build muscle on those 3 meals, the peasant slave food 3 meal diet a day? What are you talking about?
Really speaking, once
That's not going to keep you in positive nitrogen balance. You need a reserve of protein to repair and remodel these muscles so you can get more these contractile proteins. Whatever, man.
used to it, most people do
This
best
is funny.
on 3 to 4 meals a day in research and my experience.
I mean, you still have some nuclei already that are already there, right? Let's say you have some nuclei in your muscle already. They can synthesize protein. So you can build up the contractile proteins if you already have a reserve of nuclei from some previous lifting stuff or something and you quit. I don't know what you were doing there. Who knows, right? You could build some of it up, but you got to be in positive nitrogen balance to build it up. If there still is a reserve of those nuclei hanging around, I don't know.
On a technical note,
And the majority of people are carrying very low nuclei because they call it newbie gain limit, genetic limit, hard gainer, because they don't know how to get over the myonuclear domain size limit where during hypertrophic process, they reach the ceiling limit beyond where the satellite cell can donate any more extra nuclei to that domain to support further muscle growth because they stopped training damaging their muscle fibers because they're now trained. Get it? They're not untrained. They're not unaccustomed. They're not unfamiliar, and they're not doing extreme eccentric exercises to get that damage to come back. And it can't happen every day either, or every other day, It's just not going to happen. Otherwise, you'll have rhabdo and end up in a stupor in a hospital dying.
for the science lovers, there are a number of studies which do find benefits of higher meal frequencies than 3 meals a day, but those are in people consuming nothing but supplements. And I think that's a crucial distinction because they absorb.
They got what? Eating supplements? Supplements, they don't do anything, man. They're synthetic. They don't do anything. And they could probably be harmful, if anything.
Absorption and the digestion of the nutrients is very quick, and in particular, whey
If they're made from plants, they're toxic.
protein is absorbed too fast to sustain the anabolic response over time.
Whey protein, well, they make amino acids from whey protein. So there's nothing wrong with whey protein. You know what I mean? It is somewhat a waste product, but the tablet form is so much better than any kind of powder form that you'll ever buy. Yeah, but they make amino acids out of egg as well. It's hard to find. You could look for it. So they make amino acids from egg, they make it from beef, and they make it from whey protein. Well, apparently whey protein is the best one, right? Man, I can't really tell you for sure, okay? I'm not an expert on the subject, all right? So, but protein powders, you could say they are waste products, what they sell in the store. Be careful with supplements, okay? But I do know that amino acids are probably your best bet when it comes to any type of muscle build or contractile building mass on your body, this whatever density of muscle is amino acids. Okay, dude? But they don't build muscles. They will help increase the contractile proteins in your muscle, but they don't build muscle.
And fuel muscle protein synthesis over the course of a whole day if you otherwise don't.
Yes, fueling protein synthesis. So when these people tell you that, listen very carefully. Fueling protein synthesis. What is synthesizing? Proteins. Proteins are synthesizing. Are they also breaking down during the day? Yeah. They're breaking down and building up. So when you go to the gym, right, and you lift weights, right, what happens? You open a window for protein synthesis, but there's also a window for protein breakdown, right? But apparently there should be a larger window for protein synthesis now because you lifted weights. So you have a big window. So what are you going to do with it now? Eat as much animal product as you can so you can be in positive nitrogen balance. Now you have a reserve of this protein to repair and grow these contractile proteins. Get it? Man, these myofibrillars, these sarcomeres and parallel in series.
Don't consume that many meals. But in the context of mixed meals, when you have some fats, some fiber, and the foods are a little bit harder to digest, then the protein response is much more prolonged, and you probably don't need more than 3 meals per day. By the way,
it's prolonged, and you probably don't need more than 3 meals a day. If you eat 3 meals a day, I can guarantee you're never going to build any contractile proteins in your body. That's really simple.
check this out.
The Disney Resorts.
Wow, check this out. Looks very steroidally, these people. They all took something fake to make it. Not totally all of them. Some of them look really skinny. They're irregular. Okay, like this one at the bottom here. At the top, though, she's competing. Okay.
A serious course for serious coaches that want to take their physique to the next level. Click on the link in the description.
I'm taking the course right away, Townsend. I need that course so bad because I just have no clue what fitness is, man.
For more info.
Probably the best PT course on the entire internet, hands down.
Yeah, I suck at fitness. I don't know anything about fitness because I don't have a certificate. Because I don't have a certificate, who am I to tell Menno Hensman that he's wrong? Or even if he's right.
Third lesson I have for you is that food choices ultimately are much more important than your macros. Many people in fitness.
Yeah, food choices are important. If you ate your natural animal diet, you wouldn't have all these problems.
Are absolutely obsessed with their macros and the ideal macro split. And the truth is that your macros just don't matter that much. Yes, there are
Yes, and Helmsman wouldn't have a job.
which they matter, but especially for a lifter that just does strength training at a moderate volume a couple times per week, the amount of
I love this. So, lifter that just does strength training, building contractile proteins, getting physically stronger, or just motor unit recruitment, nervous system stronger? You getting a stronger nervous system, or are you getting a stronger muscular systemo?
carbohydrates and fats, whether that's 20%, 40%.
Yeah, I just want to eat carbohydrates all day, man, so I can look dumpy and fat and just look terrible. Yeah, okay. Look domesticated.
Even whether it's keto, no keto, it just doesn't matter that much. You need to have some fats in your diet. You need to have in particular some fiber in your diet.
You don't need to have fiber in your diet, and you need fat, you need animal fat, yeah.
For health purposes and sustainability, and you want to get your protein in. But beyond that, the exact split of your macros is not something that
That's all you need is protein and animal fat, yeah.
is going to make or break your progress. And behaviorally speaking, in the end,
If you eat fiber, it's going to domesticate you, man. It's just going to clog up your system anyways. It'll interfere with the absorption of the protein. That's why none of you are gaining. You have problems all the time. Problems. You're just making it harder for yourself.
you are eating foods. And what is much, much more important in my experience is what I call the 2 S's. It means that you are satiated and satisfied with your meals. That determines long-term whether something is truly sustainable. Even if your macros are perfect, but you're hungry all the time, that is not a sustainable way to live. So you want to be satiated, but you don't just need to be satiated, because you could just eat broccoli and drink some protein shakes. And for some men that will work for some time, but ultimately it is a miserable way to live. And you also need to be satisfied with your meals. So you need to find foods, and this is a really big part of becoming successful long-term and getting lean sustainably, is finding foods that are satiating and sustainable for you to eat because they fill you up and you like eating them. In fact, I would go so far as to say that for many people in the very long term, macro tracking is not the way forward. It's not sustainable for many people, and most people want to learn to gravitate.
They fill you up and you love eating them. They fill you up and you love eating them, but guess what? They'll fill you up temporarily and then you'll be hungry 5 minutes later, okay.
To something called ad libitum dieting, which is basically just eating based on your hunger signals. That is
Think about it. These foods cause inflammation, right? They cause inflammation eating the peasant slave food diet. Now you go to the gym and you inflame your muscles by exercising them. You know, they're kind of adapted to your exercises already. Man, that's just crazy.
skill that you have to learn and master, and usually it's very good to learn how to track your macros and develop calorie awareness before you master this skill. But it is, for most individuals, something that I think is much more...
Man, I have a proposition. What if I just work out once a month? I do a full body workout once a month, and I get micro tears all over my body, and then I let it regenerate. The rest of the month, I don't do anything. I just stay in positive nitrogen balance, eating animal products. What do you think will happen to me? I don't sustain any inflammation. I'm not eating peasant slave food diet or anything like that. What will happen?
sustainable long term than tracking your macros every single day, weighing and tracking every single piece of food that.
Look at that. That's not food. See, weighing and tracking the peasant slave food diet. This is how the fitness industry controls you. They're not telling you that you should eat natural food and that's what's going to change you, because it will change you rapidly eating natural food. But this will take you so much longer. It's going to be so much harder, and that's how they control you on the peasant slave food diet. And then you'll keep coming back to them, wanting more programs, buying buying powders, buying things from him, seeking advice from him. Meanwhile, the problem all stems from what you're eating, what you're consuming. But people, they don't even realize that.
Comes into your mouth. I also consistently see that the ad libitum dieting module in my PT course is one of the more interesting ones for my students. But personally, I
see, why do you need a PT dieting course or anything if you already know what to eat? Animal products. Why do you need a dieting fucking anything? Why? Because it's to control you. It's like everything that the government does to control people to make money off them. A whole bunch of stuff.
don't track my macros anymore unless I am either bulking, because then it's quite important to get the energy back.
See, listen to him. If I am bulking, and what is bulking? What does bulking really comprise of? What's it comprised of? Oh, peasant slave food diet. Get it? You don't bulk on animal products. We don't call that bulking. Why not? You know what I mean? What do we call that? Over consuming protein? What do we call that? Positive nitrogen balance? Like, what do you exactly call that? Overfeeding, protein overfeeding. He doesn't say protein overfeeding. He says bulking. You understand me? Domesticating. That's what he means. Domesticating.
Quite precisely right, or when I am doing a physique contest preparation. I can usually get to something like 7% body fat without
a physique competition. Wow, he's 7% body fat. Man, which is dangerous. You understand? That's not healthy for you. But whatever. Getting these astronomically low body fat levels and things like that are unhealthy. He says this is healthy for you. He's going to teach you how to be healthy. Okay. This is crazy. So you're going to starve yourself to losing all that fat. It's crazy.
Tracking my macros. After that point, it does become necessary. And when bulking...
Tracking your macros, but on a meat diet, we're only interested in micros. We're not interested in macros.
It's necessary because otherwise it's just too easy to dream or bulk. When you have a relatively fixed meal plan, it's possible, but most people do need to track their macros during a lean bulk phase if they...
Yeah, these people, they need to track their macros on the lean bulk phase. What are macros? Peasant slave food diet. So you need to track your peasant slave food that you're eating. Get it? That's where the word he should be using. You understand? But he doesn't want to use it. He wants to use fancy words like macros.
They want to keep the bulk truly lean.
Macros, they don't exist. But if you keep eating them, guess what? You'll deteriorate faster than you can regenerate. If there's more macros, especially than protein in your diet.
But at the same time, make sure that they're not just maintaining. When cutting dough, you have a lot more leeway.
Does he say you're getting glycation? Glycation equals deterioration. The macros are glycation. Glycation equals deterioration, bro. Get it? Now, protein equals regeneration. See, protein equals regeneration. Positive nitrogen balance. But glucose equals glycation equals deterioration. It's the opposite, yeah.
And you know, whether you're in 5% energy deficit, 20% energy deficit, in the long term, as long as the energy balance ends up approximately right, and you're not in too excessive of a deficit, but you are in a deficit, again, making sure that you are progressing, even if
you get enough energy eating animal fat, it runs better on mitochondria run better on animal fat, okay?
If it's not at the optimal rate, that is most important, and you can do that without tracking exactly how many calories you eat once you have developed calorie awareness. Lesson number 4, your health matters. I know that when it really comes down to it, many people are mostly in it for their physique. Aesthetics is the main goal. You want to get muscular, you want to get lean, and then health is kind of a secondary nice bonus.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that, but definitely don't neglect your health and do your annual blood work in particular. Check your blood work and your blood pressure. It's so important, and just living a healthy fitness lifestyle does not guarantee that everything is perfect. I see this all the time. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in clients. I've seen so many people who eat a whole foods-based diet, generally considered healthy, yet LDL cholesterol levels are super high because of a high saturated fat intake relative to other fatty acids, and a diet that just isn't quite as good as they thought in terms of fiber intake, micronutrient intakes, and fatty acid balance. I've personally also had an instance where some of the food I ate in Brazil was iron fortified. It didn't say how much iron exactly was in there, but apparently it was a lot because when I did my blood work, my iron levels...
I'm sure.
were sky high. If you have high
That's unusual. Why would it be sky high? Because if you're eating if you're eating animal products, it's not going to be sky high.
iron absorption, which is common in men, then it's actually not too difficult to develop iron toxicity if you have some of these super iron dense sources in your diet. So
Where are they coming from exactly, Menno?
sure you do your annual blood work and also check your blood pressure.
Yeah.
Lesson number 5. Girls that buy a new skincare product every month, they don't even finish the last one. There's really one shady study that found some benefits of the vitamin C that's in the product, and therefore they can say it's clinically tested or whatever. The products don't actually do anything. The whole industry is basically BS, but people just keep buying them. That's us with supplements. Almost all lifters go through these phases where they're looking for the magic pill, or even they are ostensibly aware that the supplements don't do that much, but still they buy them and they spend quite some money on them, and they're looking for the best supplements. I can tell you,
Yeah, they don't work. None of them work. What works is animal products. Okay.
the supplement industry as a whole is mostly bullshit. There are no supplements that will miraculously change your physique. The best supplements generally are things that just supplement what you cannot get in your diet. Maybe that's vitamin D, omega-3s. And then other than that, there's basically creatine. Creatine is by far the most effective supplement there is to build muscle and strength, if you are a responder at least. But it's still not effective enough for most people to keep taking it. Many people, they start supplementing creatine because they hear that it works. They just don't notice the difference and therefore they stop taking it. If you're not happy or satisfied or impressed with creatine, I can tell you there's nothing out there that is illegal and safe that is going to impress you. Lesson number 6, stop training through pain. Injuries are part of the game. Everyone is going to get injured, even if you're not a lifter. In fact, non-lifters develop more aches and pains than lifters. But lifters are going to get injured.
Right, okay.
And it's going to be their own fault in all likelihood.
Sure.
I've injured myself many different times, and most of the times it was my own fault, because I knew that something felt wrong, there was some pain, it didn't feel quite right, and then there was a little bit more pain and it felt a little bit less right still, and I kept training through it because I was a hardcore lifter. There's this balance.
He was a hardcore lifter, so he worked through the pain, the injuries. Why would you get injured? That means you're weak. If you're getting injured and you're working through all these things, man, that's just insane, bro. You're not the point of building contractile proteins is that it will make you stronger so you don't get injured doing anything.
Between being a serious lifter and knowing when to back down, and many people don't have that balance. Many people either they get a little bit of elbow pain and they're like, oh, I think I should take the week off from the gym, and those also have a hard time making it because they're just not hardcore enough. They just don't train hard enough.
Okay.
They don't have the grit and the discipline.
They're
And
not hardcore enough. Okay, yeah. The discipline, yeah.
there are the people that have a hard time succeeding long term because they don't know when to put the brakes on. They just
Right.
keep training through an injury. It hurts more, and then it's really bad, and then it takes months.
Again, one strength can overtake the other. That's because you're getting neural drive. Get it? Like he said. He said that the strength gains that you're getting are from the neural drive, the motor unit drive. Get it? It's not based on contractile proteins. That's why you're getting injured, because you're small and weak.
And you turn up into one of those people that by the time they're 40, they cannot do this exercise, they cannot do that exercise,
sure.
their knees hurt, their back hurts, and they're only 40 years old, halfway into their lives, hopefully.
That sucks.
Even if you can stand the pain, injuries take a massive toll on your happiness. Being injured
They do.
really sucks, especially if you're a serious lifter, and a big part of your lifestyle and enjoyment and relaxation, stress management, is going to the gym. Not being able to do the exercises that you like and doing the
Yeah, sure.
program that you want to do takes a big toll on most people's happiness. So, for God's sake, stop training through pain. Pain is not always a bad sign, but in the vast majority of cases for serious lifters, it's a very good rule of thumb not to train through pain, especially
If you're getting pain, that means you're weak. That, man, oh man. Whatever.
when you know this doesn't feel right. Lesson number 7. Your lifestyle influences your training and your diet much more than the other way around. You know the saying, to a hammer,
Yeah, your lifestyle does do that.
everything looks like a nail. In fitness, we have that same problem. We think that everything we do is because of our nutrition. If we don't feel quite so good a certain day, then we think, oh, maybe I didn't have enough carbs.
Oh, I didn't think I have enough domesticating food called carbs so I could domesticate myself. Yeah, that's all you're really thinking, right? It's kind of obvious. Your nutrition is number one. Yeah, you should be eating animal products. That's your problem.
At lunchtime, no. The vast majority of the time, your happiness level, your stress level, your sleep, they have a much bigger influence on your diet, whether you
they have an influence on your diet. No, your diet has an influence on those things. It's the opposite, what you're eating, because you're eating domesticated peasant and slave food diet instead of eating your natural diet.
You can sustain your diet, whether you're hungry, whether you're satisfied with your diet, in your training, how hard you can train, how well you recover, than the other way around. Yes, it's good to train, it's good to have a good diet, it will improve your life, you will be happier, your brain will function better, you'll have improved cognition, but there are limits to that, and not everything is about your diet and your training. Your overall lifestyle is a much, much bigger factor. Like your overall happiness level has a huge effect on how easy it is to stick with your diet. A good diet, being six-pack lean, is not going to make you happy. It helps, but it's not the one thing that makes the difference if the rest of your life sucks. Sleep deprivation and high stress levels are particularly damaging. Research has shown that high stress levels, such as high academic stress in students, can double injury rates.
High academic stress can what? Injury rates increase? Okay.
And double the recovery time for a given workout.
Yeah, stress goes up, your stress hormone is up. So what do you do to suppress that stress hormone? When protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown, you're in positive nitrogen balance. You're anabolic now. If you're anabolic, that means you're what? Anti-catabolic. Yeah, dude, get it? So it won't affect you.
It has also been shown that high stress levels can reduce strength development and muscle growth. At the same time, sleep deprivation.
No kidding. High stress levels can do that. Yeah. So how do you counteract it? It's easy. Be in positive nitrogen balance and you won't be catabolic.
Has shown to have massive effects in some research, as high as 50 to 80.
Here's the thing. The more anabolic you are eating protein, right? You're in protein balance, or protein synthesis outpaces protein breakdown. The more you consume, and let's say the more stress you're put under, the more it will suppress that catabolism. The more it will suppress it, and the more the anabolic will go up even higher. It'll go up even higher under a stress-induced thing like this.
80% deteriorations in nutrient partitioning. Multiple studies have
deterioration. You're going to deteriorate faster than you can regenerate if you have high cortisol levels.
Shown that if you're on a weight loss diet and you sleep less than you should, you lose substantially more fat-free mass and less fat mass than if you were well rested. And sleep optimization routines have been shown to improve your gains substantially.
That's true. I agree with what he says. Yeah.
In the description, I have a guide for you.
Sleep is very important. I have to pay attention more because I'm such a busy person, man. But okay, you're right.
To improve your sleep, and I also have a dedicated video specifically on stress management and sleep optimization that you can check out.
Stress management optimization. Look, if you're in positive nitrogen balance, you're gonna have phenomenal sleep. Trust me, you're gonna sleep like a baby, unless something is interrupting your sleep.
Out here, or wherever the hell my editor puts it. So go check that out, and if you like this type of evidence-based content, I'd be honored if you like and subscribe. I hope these lessons will help you avoid some of the mistakes I made and save you a lot of time and effort.
Yeah, he didn't really tell you anything that could really help, but okay. I'll see you in the next video, man. Tell what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Menno Helmsman, eh? Very interesting dude, man. I'm not buying his program. Not really interested in anything he has to offer me. All you have to do is one thing. Just eat your natural diet. You'll be fine. Everything will be optimized once you get out of that. See you in the next one. Ciao, friends.